Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Techegy podcast. And thanks for checking us out. If you like what you hear at any time, please do me a favor. I'm going to need you to climb to the very top of that ring post. Close your eyes, take it all in, listen to the crowd chanting your name, and drop the biggest, gnarliest elbow on that like button. Ooh, yeah, brother. It's Techegy podcast. Hey, guys. What the heck is going on? We've been MIA for like 7 months.
I'm 7 months older.
I was hibernating.
You know, that's honestly kind of believable. Like I could see.
I could see that for the last 7 months.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I literally could see Mike like crawling out of a cave somewhere, covered in like moss and like leaves and stuff.
I sleep for 7 months at a time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you probably looked at how much
I might even sleep on this episode. You never know.
Probably wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last time. Yeah, we've been gone for 7 months and we're back, BayBay. Worse than ever. I used that line on the live stream, but I'll keep using it because we're not better than ever. That's all we got. So I don't know. So what has everybody been doing? I know we've done some stuff together, but obviously everybody's kind of been doing their own thing. So
yeah,
tell the world.
Who do you want to go first? You want John to go first or me?
Doesn't matter. Just somebody start talking, talk over each other. I don't care.
All right,
Flip a coin.
I'll go first, or we'll have dead air for 2 hours. Anyway, the things I've been working on this summer was I picked the worst year to decide I want to build a video arcade machine. Lumber's up, plexiglass is up.
Oh yeah,
everything's expensive, so I didn't get too far, but I did purchase an 8001 3D Pandora EX2 Saga game board, and I've tested it with like some joysticks and buttons and that on a flat panel TV. And what I want to do is actually build a physical arcade cabinet and put all that in there. But with lumber prices being double and everything else, I've kind of just got it in a test stage. And the other thing I worked on was, I have a pinball machine. It ended up, for some reason, you'd start playing and halfway through a game, you'd get to the third ball or something, and it just shut off and turn back on, like reboot the game. And ended up, just tearing it apart. Didn't know what was wrong with it. And I noticed there's a whole bunch of light bulbs out, so I started changing them. And that was actually the solution to fixing it, I guess. And I'm no expert. I know nothing about pinball machines, but I guess the voltage relies on having all them light bulbs in there, to get the right voltage to keep everything working correctly.
So it's like a string of Christmas lights kind of thing?
Yeah, basically. And don't talk about Christmas lights, because today I have a nightmare going on outside where half of them won't light. But anyway,
yikes.
But yeah, basically that fixed that. And then once I did that, I went online and, oh geez, I should have brought the bottle in. So I know I bought this wax because like the surface is getting kind of dirty. So there's a wax you can buy. It says to clean off the dirt, make it shiny, and make the ball run better and everything. So, but that's what I've been working on. And I have a few more ideas for things I want to do in the future, but we can talk about them in later episodes. So
what pinball cabinet or machine is it?
I have a Matahari pinball machine. So it's an older one. It's pretty old, huh?
A what?
Matahari. Maybe I'm not saying it exactly right, but it's I don't know what to say. If you look it up, it's out there. It has a woman on the thing and a guy.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Matahari pinball machine.
Yeah.
Matahari. Okay. Is this so it was made by Bally, which Bally did make it. They had the Bally arcade system, which was like a home console. I think it competed with the Magnavox Odyssey. If I'm not incorrect, I've seen them on eBay. I'm not buying one for like $300 though. But is this from 1977?
Yeah,
1978, actually, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting it for free. I was looking to buy one, and a friend of mine, she got divorced from her husband, and she never played it, and it was his. That's it right there. Yeah. And
that looks like it's even sitting in your basement.
Yeah, it does. Well, no, my wall's painted a little better in the back. But anyway, it was broken, and I brought it home and fixed it. I had to replace some stuff in it.
Sure.
But I got it working, and I used to have pinball tournaments, but then everybody kind of, I couldn't get everybody to come every time, so it became, we played for a while and they quit.
I think I played it one time, right? It worked before, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it only broke a couple months ago, and then it took me a couple months to get around to do something, fix it,
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool. Unfortunately, pinball machines are expensive, so it's not like something you could just run out and be like, oh, I really want one of these right now. I don't want to give a price for certain ones, but I've seen them normally like 3,000, 2,000.
Oh, that's
like
the old one.
Starting point.
If you want a new one, you're talking $12,000 or more.
Sure.
So the average new one goes from like 9,000 to 15,000. So, but that's one of my favorite things because it's actually skill involved. So, but and
you ever get the Tempest machine working?
No, it's still broke, and
Mike,
it's hard to find anyone to fix them, and being that it's a vector and not a raster arcade machine, they're really hard to fix.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But if anyone wants to fix it, I'd love to have it working.
Well, I was going to ask you if you ever put that on the market, what would you want for that?
Oh no, I'll never sell it.
Well, it's not going to get fixed before you die.
Well,
you might as well let somebody else. You might as well let somebody else wink.
I mean, if I paid enough money, I could get someone to fix it. I just don't have the money to pay them. But I would never sell. It's rare. It's worth a hell of a lot of money. There's not too many of them working anymore.
Go get it fixed, Mike.
Well, all in due time. But they're hard to fix because it's not like the raster ones. They're all the chips on the board. It's kind of the same thing as a pinball machine. If one chip goes, messes everything else up. So, and they're rare because there's only a couple video games made, like Tank, that, and a few others were made with it. Then they went all to raster.
Well, Mike, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it just to spite you. I'm buying this one for $3,500, and it works, and I'm putting it in my basement.
All right.
I'm not doing that. Nah, that's the price though. This one looks pretty clean, but that's $3,500.
That surprised me. They're worth more than that.
You think?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm looking at other prices here. I got one for $4,450. They have a mini cabinet for $600.
Well, yeah, you can buy them from One Up.
Yeah, that's who it's from. It's from One Up.
But them were junk. I mean, I don't want to say they're junk. The cabinets are wee little.
Hey, whoa, careful. One Up might be a sponsor someday. We don't want them to go back and listen to that.
I don't want to say they're junk. They're not like the old ones. That's all I can say. I mean, I don't mind having some of the One Up stuff. Hey, I want the infinity table from them.
Sure.
But
I'm not gonna lie to you. The counter, the countercades that they make. They have a Tempest one. It's only $89 right now. It's on sale.
Their stuff's nice, but I mean, I want the old time stuff. You know me. I want what I had. I mean, I had the Tempest working all my life until I moved to this house, which was 7 years ago, and I broke it moving it. So something happened in transit. It just wouldn't turn on.
Something. Your wife sabotaged it. Is that something?
Oh, well, no, I doubt that. So.
Well, bring her on. We're gonna grill her. That's the next part of the podcast.
She's watching Hallmark tonight. You won't get her out of the room watching TV. So.
I'm sure that's what my girlfriend's doing as well, probably watching Hallmark. So
there's a new Christmas show on Hallmark tonight.
Mm-hmm. Every Saturday night. I know.
Yep.
Yep.
So I was told to go away.
And you went away forever.
And I went away.
See, you should have come out to Cleveland. See you guys. I'm going to Cleveland this weekend.
No, you shouldn't have been away for 2 hours. You know.
Well, but I understand, sometimes there's freak snowstorms that nobody ever knows about that just show up out of nowhere. And So anyways.
You can't predict the weather.
Not 100% you can't.
No.
But so you got you've been working on the expensive price of lumber thing, and you got that pinball machine fixed, looking at getting the arcade fixed. What do you like? What else are you looking for? Any like specific systems or PCs or?
Well, no, what I want to do, but I don't have the money right now. I want to buy a ROM burner and make some of my own cartridges just for me, not to sell or anything, but I want to take some things that are emulated and download and put them on a cartridge. Like, since I have a Sega system, I want to make some Sega cartridges, make some games I don't have. But just for more of a learning thing, but just to have them too. So,
sure.
I found all the information where you get the labels and the burner and the cartridges and the ROMs and all that.
How much are those burners? I know it's probably different system to system, but
that isn't bad. It's $50 or something, and then the cartridges are $5, and then the ROMs are $5, and then the labels are $5. It's not that expensive. It's just not a high priority with other things I want to I'm working on right now buying. So, but someday I'll be doing that.
Yep. Cool. John, what the hell have you been doing?
Oh, I've been building my ColecoVision inventory up. That's mainly what I've been doing. Been getting a lot of cartridges and collecting the ROMs and buying controllers and you name it. Yeah. So I just got I can show you here real quick. I don't think I'm a co-host, so if you could make me a co-host, that'd be great.
Oh, for sure.
So
what am I doing with my life?
So
Mike. You sorry, because okay.
We good now?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys know I'm been big into the Coleco, so I purchased a custom controller from a company called Edladden Controllers. They're down in Georgia, and I bought one called the Super CV, and this basically is what it looks like. If you know anything about the Coleco, you know that the controllers have a touchpad, so they mimic the touchpad here on this picture on the left with the numbers and the asterisk and the number sign, and then you've got your arcade quality joystick, and then the 4 different buttons. 2 of them are meant to mimic the buttons that are actually on the ColecoVision controller, and then the other 2 are meant to be part of the super action controllers. And you can see here yellow, red, purple, blue, and that sort of matches what I got here: yellow, red, purple, blue. And so you can actually play the games that were meant to be played with these super action controllers. You can actually play them with this this controller as well. So I got that, and like I said, they use all quality parts. And this is just a little you can actually customize the ball here, and these the colors of these buttons. If you don't have to go with the standard button colors like you have for these super action controllers. You can customize them, and that's why they're showing you different pictures of the ball, colors of the balls, different colors of the buttons, and then you can basically customize it. So this is basically what it looks like right there. And then it just plugs in. It has the 9-pin connector that the ColecoVision takes, and you plug it right into the ColecoVision. So I've used it, and it works really well. And it's nice because it doesn't, the ColecoVision, their controllers were these little stubs that came out of the controller, and it was hard to really maneuver with those. So I spent the money and I got one. This sticks up probably about maybe 3 inches from the base to the top of the ball. So anyway, I got me one of those, and I've been collecting, like I said, cartridges, buying them online at different conventions that we've gone to this year. And and then the other thing I'm looking into.
John, sorry,
yeah,
I didn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I had a question about the Ed Laden. Does that Ed Laden come pre-assembled, or do you have to put that together yourself?
Pre-assembled.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have different ones. Like they have.
Okay, I see kits. They do have kits. Okay.
They have, yeah, you can put it together. They have some stuff you can put together yourself, but they have a bunch of different ones. Like this one here, this Seagull adapter, it does not have a control stick, but it has the keypad. Let me show you here real quick if you can.
Yeah,
see
that's the one you can plug. You can plug the Genesis,
and then you can plug your own
there,
controller.
Right?
Yeah, you can plug your own controller into these ports right here in front, and they're all for like different. I don't know if you can see back here. It says Atari and it says 2678. So you can use that for the 2600 or the 70 or the Atari 7800. Coleco, and then Coleco flashback over here on the side. So you can like plug in 3 different systems basically with this one.
That's cool.
In the back. So yeah, it's the guy Ed, his name's Ed Kelly. He does a really good job of producing these. He custom makes them. There's an imprint on the back. I don't know, I can't show you here on this one, but he has it like stamped on the back, like a serial number and whatnot. So, but yeah, he does a really nice job. But anyway, he makes these custom ones for these different systems here: Atari 2678, Coleco flashback, Sega Genesis, Commodore 64. He even makes them for the ColecoVision Phoenix as well. So. But he's based out of Georgia. So, and then the other thing I was thinking about getting, and I think this is basically it's a backup. It's hard to see this. Let me see if I can blow it up. It's a backup system for different game system cartridges. You put the cartridge in, and then you push a button and it basically dumps the ROM to a flash drive or SD card. It's a little pricey, but I'm thinking I might want to get myself one of those so I can dump the ROMs of some of the games that I have cartridges for, and especially like the newer ones, the ones that don't have ROMs available. I'm thinking about maybe doing that. So I'm seeing if I want to spend the money. This one's it's a little pricey. I think it's, the last I looked, it was a couple $100. It may not even be available now anymore. I don't even know. Let me go back and see if they still have it. All right, here's the buying options here on Amazon had it. Yeah, it's still a little high. It's $239. I'm going to try to see if I can find it somewhere else. But it basically does, like I said, it does a ROM dump of whatever cartridge you plug in to the system. And here it's showing you here: Coleco, Odyssey 2, Vectrex, and Television, Atari 26, 52, 78, 400, 800, XL, XE backup kit. So it'll do all those systems.
So
So I'm looking
wait,
into,
so how exactly does this work? You plug this into the
So-
system.
pardon me?
I'm sorry, I'm reading what it has listed here. He's on the Amazon page for it. I'm trying to read. I'm just trying to figure out how exactly it works. I know you said what to do with it, but
Yeah, it basically is you put the cartridge into this thing and then you
okay, that's where I
Push it.
was.
you,
I
you
got you.
push
That's
a button and it dumps the ROM to a USB stick, or you have a USB cable. And
yeah. That's where I was messing myself up, because I was looking at that and I was thinking about putting it inside of the system, and I was like, well, there's no way I can grab a ROM if the game's not in the system. But I gotcha. That was me.
And
That's my fault.
what now, this is made by Atari Max, and if you know anything about Atari Max, they got good products. They actually make the I have one of their cartridges for the ColecoVision that has the it's a basically it takes an SD card you plug into the cartridge, and then you plug that cartridge into either your ColecoVision or your CollectorVision Phoenix, and then you can load up the SD card with all kind of ROMs, and then they have a menuing system, and you can just pick a game and it'll load into the ColecoVision's memory. So, but the reason I mentioned that is that's who makes this, but it actually has a lifetime warranty on this. So they're saying if it fails for any reason other than clear abuse or misuse, Atari Max will replace it at no charge. So
I wonder what they consider clear abuse and misuse. Like me throwing it at the wall out of anger. How can you prove?
Yeah.
I guess it's destroyed. What do you mean abuse? I was just testing. This is wear and tear, not abuse.
So here's the thing too. They have a 60-day return policy too. So you could try it out, see if it's doing what you want it to do. As far as dumping the ROMs. So I'm looking into maybe either saving up some money or finding it a little bit cheaper than what the buying options here are on Amazon. So, but anyway, what's that?
What does it cost?
Right now it's $239.
Wow.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm surprised that Sega one that I got is only $50. Or the one I was looking was only $50.
What's that, Mike?
This thing burns cartridges just like the other one, right? Or
Well, it dumps the ROM off
Yeah.
off the original cartridge. Yeah.
yeah, that's what you do, and then you can make new one. Well, I don't know if this one can, but
This
I-
doesn't.
I can suck the data off a cartridge and then put a new thing on and dump it onto another one.
No, this doesn't do that. I mean, you could if I had other hardware, I guess, but this basically is for the sole purpose of extracting the ROM from the actual physical cartridge and dumping it to either the computer or to a USB device.
Well, that's what this does. It dumps it onto your computer, and then if you put a blank ROM on the end, you can then put it back onto a new ROM.
Right. Well, this doesn't have that
That says
capability.
backup kit, so that's the same. That's what mine's called. It backs it up to the computer, and then if you put a blank ROM, you can write it. Well, I don't know if this one can write, but mine can read and write.
Okay.
Did I say it can write? CDR. Wait, no, cable and soft. Oh no,
Doesn't say.
it doesn't say. But mine says it'll, it reads it off of ROM, puts it in, or you can just have a ROM, download a ROM, but it backs
Yeah.
up to a folder, and then all you have to do is if you get the blank ROMs, you can write it back to the new ROM.
Is yours just for Sega?
It's for Sega, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
that looks like the same thing, just multiple.
I like this one because you've got 1, 2, 3,
Well, yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different systems you can dump.
Well, yeah,
ROM
if you own all them, but
Yeah. Well, I know people that do, so I'd be able to dump ROMs for people. But anyway, that's something I'm looking into purchasing possibly. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, but other than, yeah, doing my collecting of the ColecoVision cartridges and hardware and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I've been doing over the last 7-8 months, however long we've been gone. So
Yeah, no, it's been a while. And it was funny because we used to say it's been 1 month, it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months, and then it was 7 months. So I'm gonna just real quickly talk about what I've been doing. First thing is my hair's gone, so that was the first thing that's been going. And there's
second one.
what was that?
I do have that system I bought up on the screen. If you want me to show it, that
Yeah, go ahead.
8001.
Nope, go ahead.
So I gotta find the share button. Hold on. Which it's the screen right here. Okay, can you guys see that? Can you see what I'm pointing at?
Yep.
All right, see, it's a Bully 3D Pandora 8001, basically video games, retro video games. It's 3D. Now, I know it's currently unavailable. When I bought it, it wasn't. But basically, if you look at the 3001, it looks just like this under this. I bought it in the case to protect it. But it basically, this is for where you plug in your JAMA cable. Well, it has a converter. You plug in a cable, convert to JAMA, and then that takes out, that's for all your buttons, your joysticks, and everything else. And then you can either go out VGA or HDMI. There's power, there's volume. I forget what the heck this is for. There's a connector for this. I forget what it's for. But anyway, and it also, you could use joysticks, regular joysticks if you wanted. You can hook up a Microsoft joystick or something. And there's an on-off button, But that's basically what's in here. It's all on the other side. They don't really show it here. All they show is this connector here. But
so are they as cheap as the other ones you see there?
This was, when I bought it, it was about $80 is what I paid.
And it comes with 8,000 games?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Wow.
And I've tested it. I've hooked up what I did is I had an old wooden box that I had built, a 60-in-1, which had the button and the joysticks. I took the cable and plugged it into this is a new style. They're going to this new style instead of the old JAMA. This is like the one on computers, and basically there's a connector cable you can buy that goes to JAMA. So then that'll hook up to this will hook up to the cable that'll go to your buttons and your joystick. And then I just take HDMI out to a TV and then just power in. There's a power connector for, I think it's 5 volts. Don't hold me to that. And then, the volume will be on the TV, but you can crank it up a little more. And I forget, I think this may be for coin return. You can actually put in a coin return and charge money actually to play the games. But it works, if you mount this basically in a case, as long as you have a monitor and that.
Hey, what's a JAMA board? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
JAMA is the cable that it was in all arcade machines in arcades in the old days. It's a, I wonder if I could see if there's one shown here somewhere. These are all the new ones. You could buy these ones too. I bought one of these a long time ago. It only had 800 games in it, but it comes with the keyboard. And that same card basically in this. And this is actually, these are nice because they're portable. You can take them with you to somebody's house and just hook it up to their TV.
So is it used to connect like the joystick and the buttons?
Yeah, maybe if let me bring up another screen here, see if I can look up JAMA cable and see if it shows it to us.
Also keep in mind that a lot of people can't see this as well. So
they can or they can't?
Can't because a lot of people are going to be listening to the podcast.
Oh, that's true. And
through
I
audio.
hope
So but
yeah,
it's looking at connector cables for the home bell arcade unit. Yeah.
Yeah, what this is see, this is the JAMA cable here. This actually lists what these are, which buttons they are, what the voltage is and everything else. But you plug this into a sister cable that goes into that board. But in the old boards, you just plug this straight in. But then all these wires you have to actually wire to the bottom of the buttons. and to the bottom of the joysticks. There's a metal clip on the end of all of them there, and there's probably about 30 wires there, maybe more. But these are all the same thing basically, and you can get them. I mean, you can get them, $15 is all the cable costs.
Yep. And for anyone not familiar what they look like the old ribbon cables, kind of that.
Well, they're not tied together though. It's all single wire.
Sure, but it kind of looks
but
like
it is like a ribbon cable connection. Yeah. So, but that's how you can build your own arcade machines. So, and
out of those 8,000 games that come with it, how many of them actually work?
I'd say about.
And the reason that I say that is because even when we got the RetroPie thing, a lot of those games were either copies or did not work.
Every one of them works. I'll tell you, the only problem is
you've tested all 8,000 of them.
Pretty much, I've tried most of every one of them. Yes, I've turned them on for a little bit and played them. Some of them are in Japanese though. You can't understand the language or the text on the screen. There's probably about 50 of them like that. And every once in a while you get a repeat, but no, they do work because these are tested. These ones, not like what we got. So I mean, these are tested. They work, and that's what I mean. They sell these all the time. These every game works on them, and that's basically this is just the board that's inside them. That's all it is. I mean, they've been making them for years. They're you can go 400 or 412 and 1. It goes down to 60 and 1, I think was the first one they made. And unless you go, 19 and 1. Okay, 19 and 1 for $49. I mean, they've been doing this for years. This comes right out of Japan, I guess. That's for China or somewhere. That's for, it always takes a long time to get them. This is actually the power supply for the older ones. The newer ones, you just plug in a DC connection to them. But the old ones, you had to wire up with, here's the jammer cable right here. This jammer cable, you had to take like the first 2 wires and hook it to here to get your power off this. Because this is in my first one, I had to put a power supply in. So I had to buy this and the board, But nowadays they're making them slicker where, they basically make it simple enough just to have an HDMI cable. They give you a power cable, and you just need to, buy the converter cable and have the jammer cable, the buttons, and the joysticks. But I mean, these are good to buy. I mean, I have them. They work. I have one. It's 801. Every game works. So, Anyway, let me give you the screen back.
Great. Well, so before I was so rudely interrupted by Mike and his jammer cables.
Sorry.
No, just kidding.
Since no one knew what I was talking about, I thought I should probably show them,
Well, showing people that on an audio podcast doesn't really help anybody anyways, but
we're on YouTube too. They can go look at it there.
We have far more listens on audio than we do on YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Now we can you got to look at both. It's like we're like a picture in one of those picture book adventure things where you have to like pick a side, but you have to use the other one. You have to jump back and forth between the audio and the video to figure out what we're doing. But no, I'm kidding. But so I'm gonna just run through mine real quick because I do want to cover the conventions that we went through, and I still want to keep this a shorter podcast. So I mean, I don't even know where to start with what I've been doing, mostly just because I've come across so many retro systems that I have just no room for things anymore, and stuff I've bought, not necessarily just games or video game consoles or PCs, but now I have like those Mega Man diorama things that are in glass, and I have like Sonic mugs and Nintendo stuff and all this stuff that I'm collecting, and it's just gotten out of control, and I haven't been at my house enough, my actual house enough to do a whole lot with it. But I did do a little bit, and I know I showed you to some pictures, and I'm not really going to show them. I I can, but I don't want to send them to my phone or my email and take the time to do that right now. But I have a room down in my basement that I've been turning into a game room, and I have like some stuff, some artwork that I've bought is up there that's like WWF wrestling artwork and a couple arcade what do you want to call the top runners on those? Is that what those called? I'm not sure what those are called. That have the game name on top of the arcades are in there. I have a couple TVs and then a couple shelves that have some systems on there. So what systems did I buy this year? Somebody please help me with this.
I don't know.
Mike, somebody. So I got a Sega Master System.
TRS-80.
I got a TRS-80, a Sega Master System, a TI-94A, Texas Instruments, a ColecoVision, a Commodore 64, and then I bought the Commodore Maxi reproduction,
Odyssey,
and a Magnavox Odyssey 2, a Intellivision 2, and am I missing something here?
I'm trying to think what you
an Atari 7200.
7800.
Or yeah, sorry, 7800. Did I get? No, I got the Sega Dreamcast last year.
He don't even know what he has.
I really don't.
Didn't you buy an Atari 2600 too? Or did you have that already?
No, I already had an Atari 2600.
Oh, okay.
Right. I bought that Apple II computer, and I bought a couple old Macs too because I don't know, I like collecting the old Macs. I'm that's it's like a separate collection thing, but it's all going down there. And I still haven't had time to do literally my office at my house, which Mike, you saw my office at my house. It's just that like kind of that smaller room, like maybe a second bedroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's got so much stuff just in there because the game room's in the basement and it's not all made its way down there yet. I don't have enough shelves and stuff yet. And I haven't been home a lot of the time to do it. So that's what I'm working on. And then just today I got that Coleco Atom to add now to the collection. Oh, I got an Amiga 500 this year. That was purchase too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like,
whoo,
I gotta stop. I gotta stop. I'm like a dick.
John could have bought a new car or old game systems. He preferred to buy old game systems.
Well, I got a new car last summer. Remember?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Then I have that truck. I have that truck coming in February. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I need to stop. I don't know. Like I sometimes when I see the deal on eBay or when I do control myself a little bit in that I'm not going to pay like a ridiculous amount for something. Like I'm not like earlier when we were talking about the Coleco Atom before we got on here, I was like, there's no way I'm paying $300 or $400 for one, but I snuck off with that $175 deal on it. I'll do that, but I'm still conscious of like, too much is still too much, but I got to slow down because I don't have stuff set up to like shelves and that ready for things. I don't have enough TVs. I would like to have like monitors and stuff for each of these systems.
I got your solution. Just rent a storage unit. You can put it all in there.
I don't need the storage. I just mean like I need the game room set up enough that I can have everything in the game room instead of up in my office or something. Like I need more shelves. And like I said, I'd like to have more monitors and stuff. So each system can be hooked up and ready to go instead of just on a shelf collecting dust.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's months away, probably a year away before I would ever get to any of that. And I'm trying. But I do want to share my screen just real quick here. This was the Atom that I got today. I know you guys already saw this. It's nice. Literally it's a ColecoVision computer system that has cassettes. What is the purpose of the two cassettes? Is that just so you can like transfer data back and forth? Is that what the
you can. I think it only came with one, and then you could put a second one in if you wanted to.
So you're telling me that the second one on here is empty if I open that tray?
It depends on what the person that owned it may have put a second one in, or if you don't see any like spindles in there for like a cassette, then it's blank. Yeah.
Sure. So
I mean, originally when you purchased it from a retail store, it came only with one cassette. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this came with, the keyboard, 2 controllers, the system, and the printer. The box isn't in great condition. I don't really care about boxes. Boxes just take
Yeah,
up
but it's
space.
over 40 years old, so.
Also fair. And we were kind of laughing about it because I bid on this a week ago and didn't even remember bidding on this. So it must have been like 1 a.m. and I had some drinks and I had some courage and I bid on it, and then it just left my mind, and I woke up this morning and it said I'd won this Coleco Adam, and I was like, I don't really want this. Because I forgot about it. I was like mad at myself. I was like, what am I doing? Like, why did I bid on this? And I went and looked at it just like 2 hours ago when we were talking before the podcast started. And it turns out that it's actually like a ColecoVision employee edition. So these were the consoles that were given to employees. This was from an estate sale.
Wow.
From somebody that had passed away. So
Yeah.
that wasn't a ColecoVision employee. So
that is awesome.
So pretty cool. Not a whole lot of games. The library for the Coleco Adam isn't very big. We won't get into like the story behind that right now. Maybe that's a topic we can cover. I don't really actually think there's a whole, I mean, I know there's stuff on YouTube and that about the Coleco Adam that tell the story and everything, but that I think it's almost niche enough that maybe we could even talk about it in an episode.
Well, one of the things you have to remember too is you're essentially have a 2-in-1 system there. You have whatever software was available from the data pack side, and then you have the cartridge slot for any ColecoVision cartridges that you might have. So
sure. And there are still people obviously homebrew for a lot of retro systems, but especially for the ColecoVision. And there's even one that we know of that's still making the data packs for the Atom, which is 8-bit Millie. If anybody wants to check that out. So the second thing I want to show is something I purchased a couple weeks ago, and I kind of kept it a secret. I think, John, maybe I mentioned something to you about it. I don't think I said anything to Mike. And I just got it. It took a little bit to get, and hunting it down was the hardest part. And I have no idea why this is so hard to find. It was terrible. I had to talk to so many people like in messages and stuff, just trying to track this person down. And I think it's just because he doesn't want a whole bunch of people to find out, and then all of a sudden he has to like make all these things. I will tell you that there are Facebook groups that exist, and if you Google this enough, you can find it. It's going to take you a while. Just don't give up. Just keep following links and stuff, and you'll get to where you need to. But so I mentioned I got a Sega Master System. So This is a cartridge called the MSX2 Sega Master System Mega Pack. And what this allows you to do is take MSX2 and MSX1 games and put them on an SD card, and you put this SD card inside of this mega pack that goes inside of your master system, and your Sega Master System will play MSX and MSX2 games. MSX2 is I think an underappreciated console. Has some of the best music in video game at that time in the 80s and early 90s. And some of the greatest games too. It's like the Amiga. It's just kind of now it's overlooked. At the time, it was impressive. And now it's overlooked. So this is made. You can see my comment right here. Whoa, where did you get this from? I commented 5 weeks ago. It took me 5 weeks to track down where it came from, because everybody's so cryptic about it, because they don't want to like. I don't know what the deal is. I think maybe the guy's afraid of like some kind of copyright thing, or maybe he doesn't want to have to make like hundreds of these at a time or something. But if you hunt him down, you can find it. And I'm not going to tell you a price. It's very reasonable. It's under $100. But
that wasn't bad at all. No.
And I could post a link, and I could give you his name. He's on Facebook. I believe he lives in France, but I don't really want to do that just because like it was hard enough for me to find it. So if it's hard to find, there's a reason. And I don't want to be the person that like outs him and all of a sudden he has, not that anybody listens to us. I just mean I don't want to out him and then all of a sudden we have 6,000. He gets 6,000 requests for this or something. Because if you look here, there's no mention at all about this. And even like the comment that I received down here on this Instagram post, it said DM me. So like people are keeping this pretty tight to them. And I think there's a reason. I think there's a reason outside of people just trying to be gatekeepers. Cause I felt that at first. I thought people were trying to just be a gatekeeper, that this was their own little thing and they didn't want people involved in it. But after I moved further along and talked to the guy on Facebook, I didn't have that feeling anymore. I felt it was more like he just kind of made this for him and his friends. And then all of a sudden other people started figuring out about it. And now it's like an actual product, but he's not ready yet to, sell this at scale. So
yeah,
if you look for
you've essentially added two more systems to your
two
Sega
very very great systems, which are not easy to collect for, especially in the United States. They were popular mostly in Japan. And if anyone's not familiar with the MSX, it was actually a Microsoft system that was produced by both Sony and Philips. Or no, sorry, not Philips, Panasonic. So Sony and Panasonic created the hardware, but it really was a Microsoft system. The original Microsoft system, really, when you think about it, that's essentially what the MSX, the letter stands for, was Microsoft.
Well, didn't the MSX and I think it ran the Z80 processor, which is the same as the ColecoVision.
The Zilog, not Zed, the Zilog 80.
The Zilog 80,
yeah, it did, but it had different graphics hardware. And it had different sound card, which if you look at people that make like chiptune music and bands that like have synthesizers and they try to make their synthesizers sound like old video game music, they always try to make it sound like the MSX2. That was what many people consider to be the best sound card in a system at the time. Maybe overall, I don't know. But
that's why a lot of the MSX games have been ported to the ColecoVision. Because it was using the same. Also a similar structure as well. Yeah. So there are, and people are still porting MSX2 games to the ColecoVision. If you go on Google and type in MSX to ColecoVision, they're homebrew, but it's just literally MSX games being ported to a Coleco cartridge. So it's still going on. Were there MSX emulators?
There are. The one that I use my Mac for a lot of emulation. I just think that the emulation on Mac's a lot cleaner, and that's because there's just the EMU emulator that has like it all built in one. You can add cores and stuff, and you can do that stuff in Windows. There are products for that. I'm not knocking. My preference is Mac, my MacBook laptop. There are. And it's like MSX Blue is one, and there's another one that I can't think of the name now, but they're not easy to use because you have to like map the fake floppy drive that the MSX used, because remember it used diskettes. And so you have to map that. And then even with emulation, like sometimes the sound doesn't work or the graphics are messed up or something. So really, if you're hardcore dead set on emulating an MSX2, I know I said it's kind of hard to find, but I really think you should go out and try to find this. I think it's worth the time. It took me some time to find, but when I found it and I got to the guy and I gave him money, and I actually gave him a little bit more than what he had asked for because I kind of was understanding the situation that was going on. And I'll tell you right now, it did take me, this wasn't something I got in like a couple of days. This was like a month and a half between when I first spoke to him. Well, between when I first started searching for this and then when I spoke with him to when I actually received this multi-cart.
Yeah.
It was a while. So don't expect to like be up and running next week. Maybe 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months, I would say.
I'm gonna have to get me a Sega Master System now.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And from so far from what I've found, anything that I've thrown at it from like the MSX or MSX2, I haven't run into any issues yet. And there's certain games that I've just been playing because those are like my favorite games. I haven't like went out and tried every single game, so I can't speak entirely, but I think it's worth it. Like I said, it's under $100.
Yeah, that's good.
If you really want something like that and you don't want to deal with the MSX emulation, which I think might be the most, outside of some like the old computer stuff, like old Apple emulation or old like the ZX emulation stuff like that gets kind of wonky and it's rough and it's a lot of work to try to figure out. I think this is a good choice if you're trying to do that. So that's what I've been doing. Really, I know we've been to a lot of conventions this year, and I just wanted to touch on some of them, maybe rank like the ones we went to. I'm going to try to like do these in order of when we went, but I can't really, some of them I can't remember the exact dates, but I think I got most of them kind of in order here. So the first one I believe that we went to was the CCAG, and that was the Classic Console and Arcade Gaming Show, and that was in Cleveland at the North Olmsted Soccer Complex.
Right.
That was in July, and that was myself, you, and Mike. You were there.
Yep.
If you remember. So what did you guys think of that? Just quick takeaways. We don't, nothing crazy or in depth.
Well, it was better than the year before, or the last time they had one in person.
Yeah, because we went in 2019 to this one as well. Yeah.
So that one, the 2019 one, or I'm sorry, the one we went to this year was better than the 2019 one, in my opinion.
And that's, my girlfriend went with us to this one because remember, she was walking around double fisting White Claws telling me to buy everything.
Right. Right. But I definitely think the 2021 one was definitely better than 2019.
I agree. I agree. And it was in that soccer field, and they did it totally different this year because we didn't have to like wait in line going around into that soccer field like we did in 2019, which was the worst part of it. I thought this is actually where I got the Sega Master System, was at this one. I got it for $70, 2 controllers and everything. So the next one that we went to was the Torgs in Columbus, which they already have, the next one set up here. So that was just myself and Mike, or I'm sorry, John. I was looking at your picture, Mike. Sorry. That was myself and John. We went out and we stayed a night, and I got John addicted to Fireball, and we had breakfast like old men.
It's not a game, by the way. Fireball is not a game. So.
Fireball whiskey. It's a cinnamon whiskey if anyone's never had it, and it sounds horrible. And let me tell you, it is, but it's good at the same time. And I believe John has some sitting in front of him, but he drank it. He drank it last night. But so, John, what did you think about Torg? So this was supposed to be the big one. Like this was
Torgs. I mean, it was okay, but I think, one of the things we got screwed on was our t-shirts, right?
I'm
still waiting on mine. I don't know if you ever got an answer back.
I never even got an answer back. I don't want to get into that and trash anybody without entirely knowing the story. But anyway. supposedly there was some people sold t-shirts they shouldn't have. That was it. So anyways.
So the people that pre-ordered their t-shirt never got them. So that was a little disappointing. And we completely actually forgot about it. Sort of out of sight, out of mind. Because usually when you first walk in and get admitted to the place, they usually have t-shirts there. Well, they didn't have anything. So we sort of just went in and started to walk around. And then I think it was like maybe, it was probably several weeks later. We're like, hey, we never got our t-shirts from
John. It was months. We just talked about
you're right. It was months. Yeah, you're right. Months. You're right. And we finally like, no, we never got there. Then we emailed the one guy and he's like, well, this is what happened, and I don't want to get into the long story, but so I finally said, well, hey, I'd like my t-shirt. I paid for it, and he's like, well, do you live local? And I'm like, no, I live in Pittsburgh. Oh, okay. And then like a couple weeks passed and he finally emailed me and said, what's your address? I guess apparently he's going to mail it to me. And that was several weeks ago and I still haven't gotten it. So, but anyway, Torx was okay. It was, I mean, it was
big.
It was probably the biggest one we've been to. But then after hearing about the one we're going to talk about in a few minutes, then I wish that we would have gone to the other one, and they were both in Columbus. So
just 3 weeks apart. 3 weeks apart.
Yeah, they were 3 weeks apart. So we picked the earlier one, and then it turns out the latter one was the one that we.
Well, Torgs was the one that was promoted as being like the one to go to, and I did leave with a couple things, but not very many. That was the least amount of stuff I ever left with. And if you remember, by the time we left, I was kind of over it. Like,
yeah,
when we got
sure. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, when we walked out and get in the car, I was like, come on, let's get in the car, let's go eat. Like, I was so over it when we got there. And this isn't to knock anybody or anything, but there had already been people there that had owned retro gaming stores and stuff, and I don't know if they were allowed in early or because we only got there like 15 minutes after they opened, so it's not like we showed up like hours later. There were people already driving off with vans full of stuff and then when you get there, I know there are many copies of games and stuff, but everything was like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Here's a sealed copy for $10,000. Look at this. No, I'm not going to budge on this. I know what this is worth. And then you look up the price, what it's going for on eBay or on something else, and they tell you, well, that's not right. That's not what I'm selling it for.
Yeah, we were giving them pricing off of the pricing website, and they're like, no, well, you can't go by that. It's like, that's a rare one.
And I can understand, like, sometimes things aren't always accurate, but then whose price am I going by? Yours? Because you're the one trying to sell it. Why would I go by your price?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I remember that one cartridge I wanted.
That's what I was talking about.
It was a boxed one, and he didn't have a price on it. It wasn't sealed or anything. It was open, but it was a boxed ColecoVision cartridge. And, I thought, oh, well, $25, I'll go. If he says 25, I'll go. He wanted $60 for it. I'm like, no. I said the pricing guide has it down at like, I forget, it was less than what I was willing to pay. And I said, well, maybe a few dollars over that, and he's like, no, 60. I'm like, no, I'm not going 60. So anyway, but then as it turned out, the one we really missed out on was the Korgs. That was the good one. After we saw all these posts and everything of people, there were 3 programmers there that were programming for the Atari 2600 when it first came out, and now they've come out with new games for it and have better graphics and all this. And
so I was the way that it was promoted, both of the Torgs and Korgs was promoted. To me, it seemed like the Korgs one was the smaller one that was just kind of like, like a local thing. Like, people in the Columbus area were coming to this, but this wasn't something that people from out of state were coming to. Well, it turns out that I really wish that we would have swapped those and went to Korgs, or maybe we should have went to both, because we kind of mentioned it, but then we were like, 3 weeks.
It was too close. It was too close together.
Next year, I think we should do Korgs instead of Torgs. Torg, Korg, Borg, Dorg. Too many different sounding things here. So I'm going to keep going here because we're already over an hour when I promised 40 minutes. And that's okay. That's okay. No big deal. But so the next one that we well, wait, I think I might be skipping a couple that you two went to without me.
Don't forget about the Pittsburgh Retro Gaming Expo, which was
October
that wasn't 2nd second
Well,
and
yeah,
third.
but you went to that toy thing and also to
Oh, the
maker
Toyapalooza, yeah,
to
that was
Maker Fair,
the
also in
Maker
between
Faire
that.
was, well, the Toyapalooza was in August, and Mike and I went to that. It was okay.
More toys than
More,
cartridges.
yeah, there were, but they did have video games, and
They did lots
I
of
think
wrestling.
Mike, you ended up getting a few things, and I don't think I was mainly looking for ColecoVision, and they didn't really have a whole lot of that.
Mike, what
But
did you get, Mike?
They said that next year it's actually, there's going to be one in February of 2022, and they said they're going to be expanding the amount of space that they had from this year's event. So
John, I thought they said they were having one in November.
no, it's going to be February. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Next one was February.
John, I think I just got a Sega cartridge and a Super NES or something. I didn't buy a
Okay.
whole lot. I mean,
Yeah, I remember.
they had more toys than they did cartridges, but they did have tables of cartridges, you know.
Right, I remember you texted me and you said, "Hey, you should be here. There's a lot of wrestling stuff here."
There was a
Yeah,
ton of
there was a
wrestling.
lot of, there was a lot of wrestling stuff. Yeah.
A lot of wrestling characters, signs, you name it. That one guy had that one Tyson Punch Out.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I already own that. Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
wasn't.
have a
selling it.
box.
Well, no, it was a game, like a stand, like, you know, like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
okay.
like that, and Mike Tyson had signed the box, and it had like Tyson Punch Out on it. And no, it was worth a lot of money. He didn't want to sell it; he just had it on display. So,
Yeah, never
And then-
seen that before.
Before you get to that one, John, I went
Maker
by
Faire.
myself. I went by myself to the Cranberry Township, PA Maker Faire, and I will say I was actually, I didn't go by myself. I met Ron, one of our members of our club there, Ron Kaiser. Anyway, we were a little disappointed. I had been to the original one back in 2019, I believe. And this one was nowhere near what that one was. That very first one was awesome. I'm not sure if anybody from the Cranberry Township Maker Faire is going to listen to this podcast, but if you are, man, you guys got to get your act together for next year, because I was very disappointed in the amount of content and the amount of things that there was, or the lack of things there was to see based on the first one that they had. So I think they had, the first one was 2019. They obviously skipped 2020 because of the pandemic, and then they came back with a one that, like I said, was to me was very disappointing. So
John, do you remember the ones at the Children's Museum in Pittsburgh? Them ones used to be great, and then they quit doing them ones.
yeah, that was the Pittsburgh Maker Faire, but
Yeah.
they stopped doing those. So I don't know why.
Them were really nice, but
All the good things end abruptly. So
yeah.
Yep. Everything good dies young.
and then after that we did
The Pittsburgh
Monroeville
Gaming
one.
Expo. Yeah.
Yeah.
we went to the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo
Which-
in Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
Which I thought it was pretty good. There was a lot of stuff. It's the same complaints I have everywhere, that people have like an emotional connection to stuff and they want too much. But if you remember, I did walk away with a lot of ColecoVision cartridges. I like that they had bands playing. They had the big open room with like all of the retro consoles just hooked
Right.
up everywhere.
That was
That
nice.
was the only my major complaint, which we complained about, especially Mike and myself, because we rode together, is that and this is not just this convention, this is other conventions as well. Why, when do we pre-order tickets, why do we have to stand outside for an hour to get in, while people who had never bought tickets before can walk
Go
right
right
in
in.
and get a ticket?
Yeah.
And John, we had this problem at the next one we're talking about too. So this wasn't, this isn't just this one, this is all of them.
Yeah.
And my thing is, you should say a time, and you should have your doors open either at that time or before that time, not after that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should really open a little early. Even though you say it's 9 o'clock, you should be open 10 minutes early. Let people in.
100% full stop. If I pre-order a ticket, I should be getting in before somebody that just showed up and has never bought a ticket.
Right.
That's BS to me.
I will have to say the one in Monroeville that we went to, that one had like since we've been going to these retro gaming events, that one had the most ColecoVision stuff I had ever seen. And I did walk away with some stuff that day. So it was
that
good.
one guy vendor, he's had everything. Remember he had that stuff that went way back to the very first systems. You know?
Yeah, and believe it or not, John and I talked to him. It was like his own personal collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which he was he was pricing things very high
was,
because of that.
Yeah, he was overpriced,
but he had some things that were in pretty good condition for how old they were. I was impressed. I mean, yeah, he wanted a lot of money. You're right, he did, but he was impressive.
I think he said he was going to open up a storefront.
He did say that. Yeah.
And then the next one is the Cleveland Gaming Classic,
which was the last one we went to, which was just a couple weeks ago. John and I went. Unfortunately, Mike wasn't able to make it. But
I thought that was a good one too.
I thought it was good. It was a little cramped, especially when it started filling up with people. And as I joked earlier, before we started, I walked away with 2 full like grocery bags, like plastic grocery bags of Intellivision games. There were some Atari games, some ColecoVision, and then I got that Magnavox Odyssey 2 for $20. He didn't know if it worked or not. It does work. So some good deals there.
Yeah, I got a couple of things for the Coleco, so I was happy. But when we first got there, it was like in this I don't even know what that was. Like
it was almost like a banquet hall, kind of.
Yeah, and we were like, man, this is going to be kind of small, and it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a little cramped, but there was a lot of stuff. Remember, they had like the arcade room, and then like the main room with the vendors, and then we went, and there were some indie game developers that were showing off games.
Right. Yeah, and
there were
there was a lot of diversity as far as what was available too. It wasn't just like all NES and Super NES. There was a good selection of stuff available.
And there were 2 bars and 2 places to buy food. So
yeah, it wasn't bad. I really I enjoyed myself with that one. Yeah,
and I think this is the one that I got the most stuff at. This was it.
Yes,
I came home with so much stuff. Like my brother-in-law and sister had come out for like an early Thanksgiving, and everybody was cooking food. My girlfriend was there, and I was trying to get in the house with like these bags of like cartridges and stuff. Like I'm banging them off the wall. I'm like, somebody open the door for me, help me, somebody. And
you had a lot. I know that.
I did. I spent $120 actually. I think just about there that day. So obviously there's a lot of stuff coming up next year. We've talked about they moved the Coco one back until to February or to April in Chicago. I'm 100% going to the Southeast Vintage Computer one that I talked to you guys about before. I'd like to go to the Midwest one. I believe that's in Milwaukee. That's like where all the retro people go that I watch on YouTube. I know there's a lot of stuff we talked about. So next year is another adventure. One last question I have for everybody, and then we'll have some final thoughts and comments. Which one was your favorite convention this year that you went to?
Favorite. I'm gonna have to say the Pittsburgh one, only because of the amount of content that they had for the Coleco. That was impressive.
I'll say that because it was close to home.
So okay, well, my favorite one's close to home, but it's not for the same reason. And believe it or not, my favorite one was the CCAG that was in July that we all went to. And Joe came out and my girlfriend came out. That was my favorite one. The one was in the soccer complex. The one was in the soccer complex. I thought that they had everything spread out great, especially from 2019 when they only used half of it. They had it more spread out. I thought there was a great variety of stuff. And I remember even saying to John at Torgs, I was like, well, that one was even better than Torgs. Torgs was my least favorite, which John,
I wasn't impressed with the Torgs.
Yeah, and Mike, I know you weren't there, but I think you probably would agree with us. That was
we weren't there. If it was that bad.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I went all that way. I went all that way to Columbus. I don't think I bought anything.
You did not buy anything.
Yeah. And that was disappointing to me. So.
and John and I can find stuff to do. We can walk around and stare at stuff all the time and like be enamored with like all this retro stuff. But we were in and out pretty quick. We were only there for like an hour and a half. It wasn't.
Yeah, because then we ended up going to eat. And did we
eat,
go to
and
Micro
then-
Center? No, we didn't. We didn't go to
Yeah,
Micro
we did.
Center.
Yes, we did.
Did
We
we?
went to
Oh,
the
okay.
we went to the original Micro Center.
Oh, okay.
Remember? That was the,
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
first
right.
the first
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
Micro Center because they had
Yeah.
we had to ask that guy for to see if he had any more of those arcade emulator or whatever it was.
Oh,
you were
yeah, that's
looking
right.
at.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, we had time to do that and go get something to eat, and so we were in and
And we
out
still-
of court pretty quickly.
And we still got home before dark.
Yeah,
So
we did. We did. Which I was like shocked. So,
so
but
it's
yeah,
been an event.
Korg's was my least favorite, definitely.
Yeah. So it's been mine too. So it's been an eventful year. We are at the end of the year. We do have some stuff planned the next month, as well as far as podcasts go. And we also have something planned that was Mike's idea to do like a kind of like a video game awards, but like from our standpoint rather than from like a corporate glamorous standpoint. So that'll be coming probably in January. So we have some stuff planned. We're back. As I said, we plan on doing the one podcast a month, like we used to, with maybe some live ones or some specials thrown in there. Whatever we come up with, and really one a month, I think is a good schedule because we're all busy. And when we have time to do live ones, or we have like content to do specials or something, then we'll do them. And I said I'd like, maybe just keep this a shorter one, and we're now over an hour. So I'm going to wrap it up. Do we have any closing comments, final thoughts, anything that anybody else wants to put out there? Mike, John?
I just want to say, like, the retro gaming and the retro computing collecting thing right now is very big, and it continues to get bigger, I think, as the months go on. So it's very popular right now. So if you're looking to purchase systems, whether it be gaming consoles or older computers, I would say get them now before the
Yep.
prices continue to go up, because they are going to continue to go up. So
I agree. Get them now because the wick is burning thin. Mike,
Yep.
do you have any further thoughts or comments? Or
Not really. I mean, I kind
Well-
of wish. I kind of wish the gaming thing would slow down a little so prices would get lower. But
Right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. And like I said, please drop some elbows on some like buttons or share, or any kind of interaction. Even just watching helps the channel grow. And we would like to increase our audience size so more people can hear us talk about stupid stuff that only a niche audience cares about. So, like we here at Techegy Podcast always say, guys, what is it that we always say?
stay
Stay
nerdy.
nerdy, my
nerdy,
friends.
my friends.
One day we might get it.
Nope, never.
We maybe that's our thing. We'll just never get it. Anyways, thanks guys for being here. Thank you everybody for watching. We're back. BayBay. Like I said, stay nerdy, my friends. Everybody have a good one.
Peace out.